There's nothing left, absolutely nothing. There was 1.5 meters of water in the shop in less than 10 minutes.
Makeshift shelters have now been set up for the homeless, but in some areas rain is continuing to fall, and it could be days before the full extent of the damage is known. But already it's being called an unprecedented disaster for the region. Caroline Hawley, BBC News.
And Chinese TV has broadcast dramatic footage of a man being rescued at the floodgate of a reservoir in Fujian province. It's reported he struggled against the force of this rushing water for 5 hours, if you can imagine. He managed to stop himself being washed away by holding onto water weeds jammed in the floodgate. When a rescue worker tried to pull him out, he then found he'd been so tightly bound by those weeds they had almost completely engulfed him at one point, as you can see just here. He was eventually untangled and he was taken to safety. These storms began affecting southern China on Sunday. At least 42 people have been killed, 36 are still missing. Now, this man was detained in Pakistan, there, armed with a pistol, a sword and night vision equipment. His mission, apparently, to track down and kill single-handedly Osama bin Laden. Well, now the American construction worker Gary Brooks Faulkner is being examined by a doctor. He was picked up in the remote mountains of Chitral, as our World Affairs correspondent Humphrey Hawksley reports.
Osama bin Laden, still at large after all these years. The mastermind of the 9/11 attacks and the inspiration for much of the violence that's followed. Even with a $25 million bounty on his head, no one has managed to catch him. Now emerges the story of American construction worker Gary Brooks Faulkner, seen here leaving Denver Airport for Pakistan on a one-man mission to net bin Laden. He was hunting him in the remote mountain region around Chitral and has now been arrested carrying a knife, a pistol and night vision goggles. This was his 6th visit.
He's a normal person. He handles himself in society because he has come home, well, 5 times now. He takes calculated risks, and he has told me, I don't want to die on that mountain. If it happens, so be it. But I don't want to die chasing Osama. I would rather bring him in and have him die for his cause and his country.
The closest the hunt got to bin Laden was in 2001 when special forces closed in on the tunnel complex of the Tora Bora caves. Amid controversy, bin Laden slipped away and continued to taunt with public statements. In the press back home, his lone tracker has now earned the nickname of the American Ninja. Humphrey Hawksley, BBC News.
Now, more than 3 months after inconclusive elections, Iraq's new parliament has been sworn in, but there is still no sign of a government. Amid the deadlock, there is some nostalgia for a more stable era. Before he was ousted in 2003, Saddam's image was to be seen throughout the country. Of course, the American-led invasion swept most of those images away, and many of the artists he kept busy found themselves without work. Well, one of them, a sculptor, is hoping that is about to change. From Baghdad, Gabriel Gatehouse.
In the heat of the afternoon, Ala Hassan is tapping away at his latest work. His studio is this small garden in front of his Baghdad home. But it wasn't always like this. Before the invasion, he was one of Saddam Hussein's favourite monumental sculptors.
I used to have a certain lifestyle. Under Saddam, we made lots of murals and monuments in his palaces. There used to be plenty of work.
Allah says he was no supporter of the regime, but that as an employer, Saddam wasn't all that bad.
Saddam?
Ah, I see. This is right.
Saddam was an easy person to get on with, at least with us artists. He used to smile and he had a sense of humor.
Ah, there you are. Yes. 6 months before the American-led invasion, Saddam Hussein commissioned Allah to create a vast monument to the Iraqi nation. But it never got built. History intervened. Allah lost more than just his source of income. Like many Iraqis, he lost his security as the country descended into violence and religious fanatics tried to enforce their interpretation of Islam.
I received death threats from Al-Qaeda. They called me an infidel and told me to stop making sculptures. So I stopped. I was scared. I destroyed some of my works.
But now Iraq's recent history has provided him with a commission. On the last day of August in 2005, a throng of Shiite pilgrims was making its way across this bridge to a shrine on the other side. Suddenly, rumour of a suicide bomber swept through the crowd, causing panic and confusion. People were crushed, throwing themselves off this bridge into the river below. 1,000 people lost their lives that day, but one local man, a Sunni called Othman, became a legend. He rushed into the water to pull people out, and the story is that he saved 7 people's lives before drowning himself.
The person is named